Hello everyone, this is Pawfect and welcome back to my Stardew Valley 1.1 Wilderness walkthrough play series that just popped up with the save games. Doesn't do that very often. It just so happens that I think today patch 1.2 came out, which is kind of cool. I suppose there's probably not a lot to tell though. But I think as part of this episode, I might do a bit of a conversation around what I think might be interesting little improvements that could be made to the game in future patches. And maybe I'll talk about just my opinion on those. I mean, I have no issue if they're never taken up, but I've just got some suggestions that I think could be considered. So we'll get to that once we've done some of these, normal early day, everyday sort of tasks that we've got to do. So, feed our animals, I might, water the garden, excuse me, and do our greenhouse and all those sort of just standard things that we've got to do on our farm every day. I've also got a letter over here. Now it's Thursday, so we can't buy another sprinkler. Clint's still sending us metal bars. That's very nice of him. But as far as the features in patch 1.2, there's quite a few bug fixes which I won't go through. But most of the patch appears to be around adding new languages. So there's well, I don't think it's adding new languages. It's just translations. Ooh, and our starfruit's done. So we're going to have to buy more starfruit seeds as well today. I think we should be able to buy that on a Thursday. We're going to chuck all these into the kegs. So they've added additional, I don't know if it's additional or new translations to German, Spanish, Brazilian Portuguese, that sounds kind of cool, Russian, Japanese, and simplified Chinese. So if you're anyone that plays with any of those, that's a good news for yourself. Fortunately, I just play with English, so there's probably no big change there. Another patch is when using a controller, what does it say? The cursor will snap between menu buttons by default. If you disable that, the cursor will instead accelerate while moving. So that doesn't really affect me because I play with a keyboard and mouse, but that might be a benefit to those on controllers. I don't know how big a benefit that would be because I've never had that issue. Let's grab these. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cough in my throat. Then we've got, when using controller, this is a little bit tricky jumping between screen to screen while placing in starfruit, but I'll get to it. When using controller, pressing the back button will skip events that are skippable. No, we're not going to eat our starfruit. So that's kind of cool. And then the only other patch note, which I actually think is quite a cool patch note, and something I've been wanting to have implemented for a while, so I'm quite pleased that they've implemented this. Exit to title has returned. So it's a pretty basic feature. Most games have this, but normally in Stardew Valley, when you go to exit game, it only had exit to desktop. So if you want to jump between save files, maybe you play the game on the same computer as a friend or a sibling or a family member or something like that, and you've wanted to always have the opportunity to both play on the same computer, and you've just wanted to get off and switch between files, or maybe you're a YouTuber or something and you've got different files with different things and you just want to switch between the two without leaving the game. Certainly an easy good feature for that. The other benefit of that feature, which is sort of cheating I suppose, but maybe not, don't know, depends what your outlook is you can actually run through an entire day on Stardew Valley checking out where all the forage items that have spawned, because that saves for that particular day. So if for instance, I was to go now and run through this entire day, I'm not going very well with this whole eating starfruit thing. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. If I was to go through this entire day, checking out where all the items are, what all the worm locations are, and then collecting all of those, I would be able to know for the next time that I played, like I could exit, restart the day, and I would know where everything is. So I could check, are there any spring onions, for instance, and then if there's none, I know for that day I don't need to waste my time going down there, and just all those sort of things. We've actually got quite a few plants coming through today, so that's quite useful. So yeah, so that's kind of a cool feature. I actually have done that a couple of times while playing, not to try to get some cheats, but like for instance, I did that the other day where I haven't played for a while, and I wanted to remind myself how I was going in the game and where I was up to, just to get a feel for it without actually extending through time, because I didn't want you guys to miss a particular day running through this series, but I did want to just to check up where I was, to make sure I remembered everything that I've done in the previous episodes. I've also done it sometimes if I want to check for various things, just to remind myself, and sometimes it gives me ideas for what to do in the particular episode. So that's kind of cool, but I don't know, maybe you can explore it. If you really just don't know what to do for a particular day in Stardew Valley, you could play for half a day, walking around, checking out different things, and it might give you an idea. Actually, we are going to sell this void egg. I don't think we've sold any of them before. So yeah, so that's kind of cool. There's a few bug fixes. I'm not going to go through those, but bug fixes are obviously always a good thing to have. But it seems like it's a very small patch. I actually really cannot wait before they bring in the multiplayer patch. I reckon it's going to be really, really fun playing the game with lots of people. I'm actually really interested, not just for being able to play with others, but just to employ my similar play style, but with two people. How far could we get in a single year with combined effort? Someone can go off fishing, or someone else does mining, all that sort of stuff. You get a lot more time in each day because you effectively can double your time. So I'm curious to know what that could open up. I think there's a lot of good opportunities there, and I'd like to make a co-op series. I'm not quite sure who I'll be doing that with yet, but hopefully in the next patch I'll have an opportunity to do that, and I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm hoping that doesn't take too long, but it has been announced quite a while ago, and there doesn't seem to be too much movement on that. But obviously the development team is very small. And they are focusing on things like consoles and making the game more available to a wider audience, which I get as well. Things like the translations is obviously helping with that. Putting it on various different consoles is also another step in that direction. So that's good, because it's a great game and everyone should have the best opportunity to play it as well. So I'm all in support of that. I grabbed this goat milk and probably should have put it back, but anyway, let's start selling some things. Sell. Yeah, let's just sell all of that, and we need to sell a void egg. Okay, well, let's go see Sandy, because we need to make sure we remember to put our starfruit seeds in. It's been so long, I forgot how to get on the bus. But there we go. So let's go see Sandy. So yeah, so some of the ideas that I thought would be cool to implement within the game is, the late game, currently, you finish the community center, you get a few gifts along the way, and then it sort of stops. So this is actually not my suggestion. This was a suggestion I read on one of the forums a while back. I should be quoting who made this recommendation, but I can't remember who it was. But the idea was that as you develop relationships with particular people, they set up like a mini store within the community center. And I reckon that would be really cool. So it doesn't necessarily have to be anything fancy, but it could be, I don't know, Leah could sell sculptures that you could put around your house, or there could be new skins of various things. Nothing too fancy, but just give you something else to strive for. And you might only unlock those things when those people you get your friendship points up with them, which I think is another good reason to get your friendship points up. So I think that could help both of those things. And you could actually explore quite a few ideas going down that path. There's lots of different people that you could engage with. Who knows? You could have Shane that brews his own different types of beer that you could buy, or something like that. Another idea, or another thing I think that would be useful in the game, and I think this is sort of not so much an idea, but more a balance. I think they need to tweak animal produce. So, for instance, in the barn, the best gold per day, I think it's probably the the pig overall, but it's a bit tedious. But the cow is certainly much more profitable than the sheep and the goat, because you get milk every day and cheese. Actually, I wonder if I can check. So how much does cheese sell for? Where's cheese? Yeah, so cheese sells for 200 and goat cheese sells for 375. Now, I know that they can times when you get the quality up and so on and so forth, but you get cheese much more regularly than you do get goat's cheese. And I think overall the cow is actually more profitable than goats. And same with the sheep. And you get sheep wool even less regularly. So I think there needs to be some balance there, because the more expensive animals don't necessarily give you a better yield. And I think that's the same for chickens and ducks. And rabbits as well. I know rabbits give you rabbit's feet, and they're pretty cool and a little bit unique, and you can use those for other things. So that's another reason to get rabbits. But from a pure gold perspective, I think there's some opportunity to refine that process. Another thing I think would be pretty cool to have implemented in the game is some form of snowballing effect in the late game for fishing. So fishing, there is some snowballing in a sense that as you get up to level 10, you've got more opportunity to catch more fish, which is cool. But it gets to a point where that sort of stops. So once you've hit level 10, you've got really no more opportunity to get more gold. I mean, I'm sure there's some minor things you could refine, some of your own play styles and that sort of thing. But with farming, you've got the opportunity to use kegs, and then you've also got the opportunity to advance that further with casks to really, extend your profitability of your crops. And mining's sort of the same. You sort of end up reaching like a gold cap. So you can go fishing every day, but there's sort of a gold cap that you can make each day. Whereas with farming, you've got all these extra tools to make that work. And maybe an option for fishing is to combine it with something like cooking. And there could be these cool little cooking recipes that you need to build a specific stove for, or maybe it's like something that you need to leave for a few days to make it work, or something like that. I'm not sure, but anyway, I think there could be some ability to extend on fishing and just make some late game a little bit better. So they're probably the main three ideas I have had along the way. There's probably some more things I've thought of in the past, but they're the main ideas that I think would be pretty cool to implement. I think the community center one would be a good example, because there's a lot of ability to sort of keep adding more things to that. Because you could start off with, say, two people with shops, and over time you could develop that further. It gives you another reason to develop relationships with people, and it sort of adds to the whole feeling that you're building the community of the town up over time by the actions that you do, and I really like the idea of that. Anyway, so if you've got any ideas on what you think could be cool to implement in the game, or some updates or some balance changes, let me know in the comments. I'd be really curious to know what you guys think. Let's make sure we don't give Leah a gift anymore, because we'll get into trouble with Emily again. But yeah, or even just comment on what you think my ideas were like. But I just must stress that idea around the community center wasn't mine. That was someone on a forum post. I wish I could quote their name. But I did think it was a really, really cool idea. You could also consider opening up a space like this and those sort of things. Or maybe add more to the storyline of the witch and so forth. But because I like the idea of adding items, but just adding something to get with gold. It's very cool. I like that idea, and I think it's worth doing. But I think there would be more cool ideas out there to add to the game outside than, all right, if you've in the late game and you get 5 million gold, you can get this item, and if you get 8 million gold, you can get this item. I think the community center is certainly something that can be developed a bit further, and maybe in a similar vein, you could consider doing something for Jojo Mart for those people that go down the Jojo Mart path. Although that being said, I don't really know anyone, and I've watched quite a few streamers and quite a few YouTubers that actually goes down the path of Jojo Mart, because, well, they're evil and We prefer the community feel, and I think that's pretty much everyone agrees that's probably the best way. Also, you get lots of gifts along the way with the community centre, and that's really cool too. Because you don't really get much going down the JoJo Mart path. Business has been slow lately. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. How about I give you a beer? What do you want? Leave me alone. I thought we were friends, man. Oh wow, how'd you know this is my favourite? So I go from leaving you alone to I'm your best friend. This is a fun gift, thanks. No worries. And Pam likes pale ale, so we'll give that to her. Or we've already given Pam 2. And Gus 2 as well. What's Gus selling? I don't think we wanted that. You know what, let's just for the sake of it, let's buy that recipe. I know I said in another episode that we're probably not going to be... actually, is anyone's birthday today? I should probably be checking that. Oh, I should have done that. And I'm not allowed to give Haley anything because I'll be in trouble. Egg Festival a couple of days away, and we'll buy a few more strawberries then. Okay, well I probably don't have a whole lot more to do in this episode. That was about it for me. I could have done some fishing, I could have done some mining, but I wanted this to be a little bit of a relaxing episode. I'm hoping that year 2 will be a little bit more relaxing and not quite as full on as year 1. Year 1 we sort of went very, very hard at it to try to earn as much money as possible, and I think this year will be more of a just relax and take a breath of fresh air and try to play through some things in future. And I'm actually really bad at making things look nice, so I think at some point we're gonna have to tidy this area up because this looks really ugly. And we've even got furnaces here and chests here, and then trash. At the very least, we could have all of our chests here and the other items over here or something like that. But I think we need to tidy up. I've also wondering what I need to do with my pigs, because we've got pigs but we're not actually using them at the moment to get us truffles, which I think is a mistake. And I'm not quite sure where we can put them, but maybe what we can do... Maybe what we need to do is set this up as a bit of a... So maybe we cut out this area here and add a fence, and we make this our pig area. I'll have a think about that. I'm not quite sure I like that, just because I think this area will be too boxed in, and I like the idea that up this way you can sort of walk this whole area, and this is sort of confined to the side. If you've got any ideas as to where I should put my pigs, let me know, otherwise I'll try to find a place for them. But anyway, besides that, you probably had enough of me rambling on. Let's sell the items that we've collected along the way. And we still need to give that to Gunther. You know what, I'm just lazy, let's sell that. The red chest I think is the one that it is. Yep, and let's put these away as we're getting hit by a bat. 87, so we've got a few spare. Kill the bat. Kill you, and it's bedtime. We'll just see Lily. We won't say hi. We'll just say good night. Oh, our dog's here. How you going? Good night. He's very happy as we walk past our drum block, and I think that's gonna be it. So how much gold do we get? Because we sold a few items today. We had that juice I think to sell. Kale juice. Kale juice. Yep. Sounds very healthy. Mining, yeah, a little bit of gold. See, we get very little gold from foraging, so the amount of time you spend walking around, you don't get a lot of gold anymore. It's very good in the early game, but late game, it's kind of like, well, should I really bother? But that's okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, a bit more of a relaxing one and just talking about various aspects of the game. I am really curious in the comments if you've got any suggestions as to what you think would be cool improvements to the game. But besides that, guys, I will hope you enjoy this episode. Please remember to leave a like if you have. And besides that, I will see you all in the next episode. Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.